Good morning, good morning, good morning. Kiss up to God. To God be the glory for all the wonderful works that He does. Thank you, God, for another do over. Thank you, God, for those brand new grace and mercy, family and friends. Lord, just thank you for a beautiful day, another day in the land of the living. You didn't have to do it, but you did. And I appreciate it. And Lord, if we had that chance to say I'm sorry, allow us that chance because I'm sorry can restore and it can recover a whole lot of things. Happy Saturday! I'm off. I'm so grateful to be here today. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Jennifer Brooks. I am your Southern Belle. Excuse me. Today, because I have to get my oil changed, and every time I go to get my oil changed, I'd rather my son to take my car sometimes. When I was married, I never had to worry about this or dating. I had boyfriends that did that for me. And the reason was because we as women feel like that we get ripped off, or we feel like uh, they do men better than women. so today is a day that I hope people engage and answer the question: do you think women get ripped off by mechanics, or they treat men different? What do you think? What do you think? Because um, I have I had a mechanic. I think sometimes if they see you in person, because I was reading a couple articles and I was reading comments this morning because I knew I wanted to come on and talk about this. Because it's traveling time. It's time to the holidays are coming up, and I love going down south to see my mom and stuff. So I'm making sure that everything is done. Your tires, your oil, your car is in good conditions to hit the road. So I was reading articles about how do people feel about that, and some people say a scam's a scam, whether you're a man or woman. Some mechanics don't care who you are, and I had one that wrote a comment, which I agree on this one. And I never thought about it like this. Some of them say they don't know who you are. They just get the paperwork and some of them just go to work and just do your car. And sometimes that's true. Excuse me, especially when you're calling in to get it done. They're just, next, they're back there working. And then you got some that, that they know you're a woman. And especially if they stand up there telling you stuff and you get that, what they call deer head lights in the deer head look staring at, and you don't know what you're doing and what they talking about. Hey, and I was talking to my son about it the other day, and we was laughing. We was talking about no, I couldn't. And we was talking about this one place he went to get his oil changed, because like I say, they come to men too. And the guy came to him and said, you also need an air filter. And my son said he looked at the man and he looked at air filter, and the air filter was like old, and I think he said it might have had like maple leaves in it. And where he stayed, there's no maple trees, so there's no reason why the filter would look the way that it looked. And he said he looked at him and said, man, that ain't even my filter. So, if they can get over on anybody, they can get over on anybody. But he knew me, I would have been like, oh, yeah, go ahead and get my air filter. I would have paid attention. I wouldn't even looked at the air filter. I would just go ahead and get one. And see, some of them know that. Some of them know you don't pay attention and that you don't know. And they're all in your pocket. Like I said, especially if they feel like you don't know what you're talking about. I was so glad, I was the nosy child. I was very inquisitive, especially when my dad was outside under the hood, the distributor cab, the carburetor, the carburetor, I'm sorry. The changing the oil, changing the tire, so all those things I learned watching my dad, being under the hood with my dad. I don't think you can do it now because I think they make cars where you have to take them to get them done. It's hard to be in your yard working on the cars of today. If you got an old car back in the day, you probably still can do some things with it. But I think they have it that way where you can't fix your car anymore. You have to take it to the dealer or manufacturer to fix it for you. So that's a way for them to make sure that the money keeps flowing in. But still, I would love to know if anybody out there feel like that they cheat women, or they rip women off when they try to go get their car done, or have you even ever got it done, especially if you got a man with a big back. they don't mind carrying the weight or carrying the load of doing things for his woman, getting the oil change, cut the grass, cooking sometimes, the men that make sure the woman don't have to deal with all that stuff. But when you're single like me, some of those things you have to think about. And another friend was telling me last night that thank goodness that her son was reading over her paperwork. And he said they owe you money. This guy had ripped her off over $100 worth of stuff that wasn't even lining up with mileages and you know what I mean? So if they can find a way to creep in there and get some stuff and rip you off, they will. It was a guy on the White Horse Pike. I'm not giving a name. On White Horse Pike in Egg Harbor City. I'm saying that because he really ripped me off with, I want to say it was like a joint socket in the under my truck. And I bought the parts. You got to be careful when you're buying your own parts with places like that. I bought the part. He charged me, minimum to fix my vehicle. And I said maybe 6 months later, I took it to Sears, I want to say, and I had to get something done underneath. And he said, that your ball joints, your sockets are messed up. And I was like, what are you talking about? I say, no, they're not, because I got that repaired. He said, no. He said, no, you didn't. He took it from under my truck and showed it to me. It was rusty and it was old. And if that came apart, that could have actually unhinged underneath my truck. And I was stunned, because we do trust people to fix things when they're broken, especially when it comes to our vehicle, because we're on the road with this. Not only could I have been hurt or killed, I could have hurt or killed someone else. And that bothered me, that they didn't even care. And the woman that I am, of course, I called and called and called. He never answered. I went there. He was closed at the time. And I'm like, really? So I just prayed about it. I said, God, whatever he did to me, don't let him do it to nobody else, but fix that for me. Because I'm a woman. I'm not going to go and argue with anybody, but I did want to confront and tell him, sir, why would you do that? You really could have caused bodily harm or death if the socket would have came loose under my truck. But anyway, when you go out like that, or when you're going to get your stuff fixed, read it. Because that's what we do. We go, oh, we need so and so and so and so and so. They say, okay, and especially if they're rushing you, because their thing is to upsell like anything else. And then you get the bill and it's $100 more than you thought, and you just pay it. You don't even look. Be like, okay, explain what this is. Well, why is this? Because if you look, the labor is more than the parts. The part might have been $30. The labor is $130. Like, what? Okay, I could have did this myself. But still, just be mindful when you do that, and be careful who you trust with your vehicle. Your vehicle is precious. It's out there on the road with everybody else, and you're trusting that when you get in there and turn that ignition or push that button and you're driving off, you're praying that everything is okay with your vehicle. So just be mindful. Look at your paperwork. When they give it to you, check out everything on that paperwork. Just don't sign off and give people your money. Everything is going up in the grocery store. It should be going up at the mechanic store too. But that's the way of the world. But I want to come on. So if you want to send some comments, give me some comments on, have you ever experienced this? And if you did, what did you do about it? And some things are better left with men doing it. A lot of things are better, whether we know it or not, with the male taking those roles that they should take in our life with doing things like that, All right. My name is Jennifer Brooks. If you feel like anybody needs to hear this, please share it. It's a good Saturday morning, and we got to go out there. We got to make it count, and we got to be grateful. And thank you, God, for them grace and that mercy. All right. Excuse me. My name is Jennifer Brooks. I am your Southern Belle, and I am on the right road now. Y'all have a good Saturday now. God bless.